Right then, here we go again. Now we've got to take the gearbox apart again to replace the first gear once and for all, and possibly the second gear. So, first job, undo bolt. Oh, new spanner stuck. Reverse. How do you reverse? Oh no. Huh. Oops. Got myself an issue. Alright, so back to turn. Nope. It's out at least. And I turn it in. This is not good. Okay. I'll fix this now when I've got two hands. I'll be back in a minute. Right after some mag growth, we got that piece out. Now we've got to undo all those bolts you can see there. And just slide that plate off. That's how it should work. So that's my next challenge. I don't know if I can set you up there. You can leave it up if I want to. For a while. Back to the speedy gadget thingy. I will crack it. Ooh. And the washer. I'll get that in a minute. Right. My first battery is died. Interesting. Okay, we move back to 1, plug in battery 2. Okay. Is there any trouble with this? They work really well and then they're dead. So I'm going to put that on charger first. Oh, these are being difficult. Give it a wiggle and out she comes. And there you are. One piece, that's a slight mod because I put a seal in there now. That's me. My last job. Take the gasket off. I am not going to worry about this gasket, I have a new one. Remember those two? You must remind me. They'll stop the end float. That's the idea with them. There's the old gasket. That will not come out of there because it needs to go that way, which means I need to take that off there. Little clip in there. Little clip there. Look. That needs to come out because that goes that way. So now we've got this end stripped. Put all the parts in my coffee pot. Pick up all the gaskets. Rid of that. No. I'll have to clean all this off afterwards, but yeah, that. Tip it up. Oh. Anyway, she's sitting on the spindle, but that don't matter. Our next job is to undo these here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 there, 2 up here, and then this piece will go off. Right, and then we wiggle it off. Voila. That's a little gasket that fits there. Just keeps it all level. I don't think it does much. Right, and that's what you see inside. Mustn't do that bit. And that's a gear selector, that is. More my making sure it don't leak. And that gear selector plastic bit fits in that. Right, and that's your gear sticker. So we'll put that over there. Now next job is to undo these around here. So back in the middle. Next job is to lift this off. Ain't as easy done as that, but why not? Phew. Come on, girl. Oh, I know what I've got to do. Before I take that off, I've got to take this side plate off. And I've got to slacken off the selectors. So, next job, those bolts. Let's see if I can get them so you can see what's going on there. What's going on there? Oh well. take this, hang on, get you off, probably. Oh. Right, take this off. You didn't tell me about that one, did you? Okay. Right. Being a bit stubborn there. It's a lead weight required. And that bit comes off. Put them in your spare parts bin. Right. Take the gasket off with all bits of that all over the place. And yes, I've got another one of those. I think I may have put a little bit too much. I'll put that in the bin. Right, and that's a plate. And that's where the springs sit. There's pieces of iron keeping these in line. You can't see, can you? No. Our next job is to slacken this one and this one. And take out the drain plug and slacken off the reverse. Sorry, that one there. Take the drain plug out and the reverse one's in there. So let's do that first. Right. After having severe problems, suppose I better explain. Right. This, one of the bearings, sorry, they're not bearings, rollers there fell out. And when I put it back in, it fell out again. So I had to order new ones. This is a day or two later, and we've got it in with the new bearings. And things go round, which is always good. But I've got to fit reverse gear yet. So that's my next job. And then I've got to put all the selectors in. And I'll try and show you that in a moment. Now I'm fitting reverse gear. There's a come on. There's a selector. Right. And that's going to go in there. Right, so. Bingo, right. Sets on the groove. Give me some light. Sets on the groove on the gear. You can see it just there. Right. And then reverse gear. Oh dear. I think there's that one. Choose that one there. Right. You see the shaft going in that into the hole there, which goes there somewhere. I got this right. That's that one. That's that one. Choose first gear. Yeah, I think I got it right. Come on. Ah, yeah. See that hole? See that hole there? That is going to be round there and about there. Okay? But that locking pin to go into it. I'll show you that afterwards. Now we're going to put on, where have I put them? First gear, if I remember rightly. No, that one. I think. Doing the dry fitting is always a good idea. No, that is first gear. It's the only one that fits. Right. What that does, is go over those teeth there. Right. And the teeth fit in that groove. Okie doke. So, little oil makes, and it only goes in one way there. Right. And if I remember rightly, this is number 2. Number 1 gear. Right, now then. Now we're going to put this in, and not you be screaming at me now. Right, so what I've got to do is push up a little pin here in that hole, or push down, and that's in the right place. It should go down. There. Yeah, that pin's just gone down, see? That pin goes up and then down. I hope you saw that. Right, so that means that's in the right place. Then you can shove in number 2. for some reason. Now, if these bearings don't fit together properly, let's have a look. Is that the only one? Yeah. Right, that's it. It's gone right into the gear now. Oh, can you see it's disappeared? Now number 2 will go in. Number 1. Right. That goes through there. And that goes through there. Now then. This is not number 1. Damn, we'll just put number 2 in number 1. That won't do. Put 3 and 4 in 1. Wrong selector. That's that one. Yeah, because it moves. For third. Over there for second. Right. So, now then. You can check if you've got the right one. Okay. Light problems. See that hole? Alright, that lines up with the other hole you can see there. I've got 2 hands busy. That hole there, that torch is hitting. And that little hole, right, well, it's not a hole, it's indentation. I wonder if you can, if you want. So you push that in and that's about right. Right, now the next one. Now, there's one thing I haven't fitted yet. You know I was telling you about these ball bearings. Right. This hole, right, here, not them two, this one all on its own that you think does nothing, is a hole. Oh yeah, that's right. That hole there is important. Right, so what we do, so we put the last gear in, which is number 3 and 4. Alright, so you need to get this one out a little bit to about there. A little oil for easy fitting. Right, and then that is a bit of a jiggly poo. Fits the other way around. Okay. Oh, boo boo. I've got to pull out number 1, and I can't pull out number 1. Right, so I put these in wrong, so I need to pull out that one, but I can't pull that one out because of that little ball bearing, and that one needs to come out. And that needs to go in through that hole there. I'll show you in a minute. There we go. Right. So that one's in the right hole now. And that can go back in there. And that goes through that gear there. They all fit the same as number 1. Alright. Except for that one's got a groove in, reverse gear. That one goes there. That one was 3 and 4. Right. But there's a big hole in it halfway down. For that, this shaft was wiggling to go through. Right. And the final shaft is this one. I'll explain them holes in a minute. Right. But we can't put this all the way in. Little oil on the end. Always works wonders. So that one can now go through that one And it just starts. Because these big ball bearings in here, one of them's got to go in there. How am I going to explain to you what this bearing does? Quite important. This little ball bearing stops you putting in first gear when you're in third or something like that. It locks the gear here, like that ball bearing I showed you in there. That one baby, there we go. Nope, not quite. Right, bit more in the gearbox. Right, now we're going to put this cover on, which is quite a simple job. Yeah. So, first up, get springs out of bucket. One spring. Right, that goes in there. Oh, let's put it in there. And then number 2 spring is here. Right, that goes in there. Now one does stick up slightly more than the other. Not a worry. Now then we get the gaskets. I need 2 hands for this. By the way, I fixed my torch. Right. I'll put this on. Be an idea, I think, is to put these in afterwards. So we'll put them on the lid. Yeah. Put this on. Just slowly working on. There we go. Oh no, I've got to take it off. I haven't put any sealant on it. Because this has got oil on it all the time. Got to be careful doing this. Because you can tear them because they're thin paper. Right, first job, let's put a little bit of sealant on here. That's just smidgen, because this is the side of the gearbox and not the bottom. Just a little bit. Hardly worth putting on, but it will make a difference. Especially at the bottom, and you can imagine half a gearbox full of oil splashing around in there. Yeah, not ideal. So it's in there. You don't want lumps in your sealant. You don't want, well, this won't hurt the gearbox so much. It could stop oil going down the centre of the lay shaft, maybe. It shouldn't be good for the bearings, but I think it'll be alright. It'll have to be a big lump. Lousy filming. Oh, the hair comes free, does it? I see. Squeeze a bit out of this. Oh boy. Why got this zoomed in? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. 5.8. That would explain a lot. Haha. Where is this at? There's a piece in here to this thing. It's been giving me trouble for a while. I need a little bit. The only reason I'm a bit more liberal with it down the bottom, because that's the bottom of the gearbox. And see, good idea to put them springs on top of the gearbox. No, top of the lid. Try putting the gasket on next. Always be, oh God, always be careful. Make sure it's all seating flat. Unless everything's hung up, then a bit more sealant. Wait there. You really don't need much. That's that done. Then we'll poke the springs in. Yeah, one shorter than the other. So that one going there, the deeper one, and this spring is a little bit shorter. That can go in there. Oh, right, now we've got the gasket on. I'm not gonna bother doing this, but it is clean. Even how I wrapped it on my t-shirt. Right, and that. See that little dimple? That sticky up spring goes on it. When you tighten it down, it pushes it all down. Now then, next job is to put all the nuts on and tighten them down. Which I'll have to come back to you on that one. Right, so there we are. I've got to put all the nuts and washers on there, all the way around, and then nip them up. Don't tighten them so there's no, tighten them to death, because you just strip them. You tighten them enough. Okay, and sort of do these carefully, equal, because you've got to push that right down flat. Right, I'll get back to you in a moment. Right, here we go. Remember what we said, don't over tighten them. Somewhere here. 11. There's my 7/16. Okay. And we span it tight enough. Tight enough. See, sometimes when you tighten bolt, you'll have the metal, don't cut it. Bottom ones are more important than the rest. Okay. Right. And what I like to do is after I've done it, let's see, right. Dump the stuff everywhere. I did make a bit of a mess. Right. Although it probably won't look this pretty for long once it's in there with the road dust. Now then, our next job is to flip the gearbox. You see why the bottom ones are important? Yeah. Let's get some light on, will it work? Nope. You can see there a bit. Those bottom ones are important where I put slightly more sealant. I'm not so bad no gasket, but these plates bend and twist a little bit. If you were over 60 years old, you would have known. This gearbox, I don't know how old that is. I've got other gearboxes here. They're smooth case. I know nothing wrong with the smooth case gearbox. Getting the gears though. Right. More mess on the floor. Right, that's that done up. Access wiped off. You're going to get a little bit inside, so the best thing I suppose is to run it for a bit. Do a couple of 1,000 miles, change oil. Even 500 will probably do it. All this was cleaned up before assembly. Yeah. Now then, we've got one gasket there. We've got that gasket. What happened to the other gasket? Okay, so we'll find it. That's what I used to fix my see, torch. Got the old one there if need be. Empty it on the floor. That sand is just right to pass you through the window. That bit of rain we've had ain't done much. Very bad. Very much a shame. Right, I'll put you down and find that gasket. Okay, this is the bit that fits on there. Okay, that's the bit, that's where it fits, this bit. And as I have the gasket, I'm going to replace this. Take this off. One, these are bolts obviously. Get out of there. I have cracked these all because these things are not really designed to come with, and sometimes it's better that way. And this is an 11 mil. I suppose what I should do is buy it. Keep getting the charger cable on the phone caught up. Right, screwdriver. That chisel will do. Now we've got to break this here. There we go. There's a bit of dirt in there. Oh dear. That one's taken out. Right, in the bottom here, that is a selector bit that your gear stick fits on. Your gear stick fits on the other side. I will have to clean all this out. The gasket was shot, not. The gasket's shot. Come on. We'll clean that up in a minute. That's the gear stick end. Now in the middle of that, you can just see there's a lip and there's a plastic bit that's on the spring, and that should slide up and down. If we don't slide up and down, right, that one does, I know it does. You want to unstick it with a bit of something, take it off and play with it, and you can unstick it. There's only one place that'll fit on because there's a groove. There's a groove in this. You can slide that off. There's a groove on that shaft in there. I know you can't see too well, but see that shaft, there's a groove on it. So that can only fit one way. That is similar, but it does that. Basically that sends your gear stick movement through that, from there to there, then that goes into here, that round bally bit fits in there, right, and pushes that all over the place, which is what changes gear. Right, I'm going to have to clean this up, so I'll do that because that's boring, and start you up again when I'm ready. That's if the phone is switched off. Maybe squeezy fingers. The phone won't switch off now. Let's give it a wipe, shall we? No, let's try it that way. Right, here we go. Cleaned it off. Oh, no, I don't know if you can see. I'll put me back to the sun, you can see better. I put stuff on that by accident. That is covered. That is done, it's been washed out, squirted out with this stuff, which is just brake cleaner. I'm going to look on the internet to see if I can get something a bit cheaper. Brake cleaner's not, well, the time it takes for that stuff, the cost of it, and it doesn't last long. Got a washer there, so we'll put that in there. That one on there. Whatever it is. The other Now then. Falling on the floor. Can't see it. See this bit? This is a bit that fits. Glad that fell out, this I can show you. In that hole. In yeah, a big hole. That piece of plastic and spring fit in there. Right. And the gear stick end fits in that. And it holds it in here with a plate that holds it down. But I have temporarily lost the nut, so I'll find that nut, put it in that hole there, tighten them down, and then basically that will be fitted on there just like that. But when you put it on, if you put that in the centre part and you look under here, the ball you want to go into that hole like that. Alright, job done. But before that happens, before that happens, and you probably didn't see because my videoing is absolutely so before I fit that on there, I've got to find that bolt, so I'll get back to you in a minute. Right, here we go. It's all together, that bit's in there. I've got to order that bit, unless I find it. And it's all put together. Right. All done, apart from the join plug. And that goes in there. Tapered thread. That's it. I shall nip that up in a minute. Another thing, you don't want to over tighten that. It's a tapered bolt, right? So you just go a little bit tighter. That is similar, okay? That's your level point. You unscrew that, get a funnel to go through the floor into there, and voila, you tighten that up. Alright, when it starts pouring out. Right, that's it. Gearbox repair. All done. At last. It's only taken a week, because I can only do it for a short time. Cleaning up again, I like to clean up behind me. I could spray cleaner on there, brake cleaner, but it softens this stuff, so it will just look like someone's been in here, but I haven't got the equipment to plane all those flat, so or to replace any studs. I have to order everything, you know. So anyway, that works. As you can see, it looks a little better. And that there. And not very good like this, is it? Never mind. It's in broad daylight, so yeah, that's in. That's all down, tightened. I've got to check that plate in there. And that's it really. I'm happy bitting the gear stick always there. You can see it clearly now. That seal was changed not so long ago, so I'm not going to worry about it, and it wasn't leaking. And that's it really. Yeah. The old girl is ready to go in back in her home. Yay. Yeah. Brilliant. Suits me. I'll order that bit tonight. It's a little spring and a metal bit on the end. It's a bag of that. I don't think I've got any spares anywhere. I might have a spring, but I haven't got the other bit. Never mind. She's in one piece. It should work good. Yay, I'm a happy man to finally get this done. I've been dreading it for months. I really have. And that thing's been a great help. But with these, especially those threads, be careful. There used to be studs in this, but I've had to put longer bolts in. So they're not studs anymore. They were like that all the way around. But the threads, they just ripped off. Pulled out, and another one there, look. And one there. Anyway, that's enough of this, I think. Let's put it back down. Just mind me, ain't quite there yet. I want to nip up them. And in fact, I'll do that in a minute. The old girl is ready for assemble. It ain't gonna happen today. Might happen Monday. Mind you, my son's here tomorrow. Could get him on the job. Save me lifting it in. We'll see. Mustn't tell him. Yeah. Okay then. I'll talk to you soon. And hopefully it'll work. Bye. One last thing. I've checked all the bolts. You see this here? Don't over tighten this bolt here, because it'll make this stiff. You want a bit of play in it, and you tighten the top. Now if you tighten the top, it'll squeeze it tight again. So you want it tight, but not too tight, okay? Just make sure you can wobble that, and that's tight enough, because it threads through that. Right. So you want a bit of play in it, but not too much, okay? In fact, I could tighten that a bit more. Tighten the bottom. Half a turn. A bit more perhaps. Bit more. See it's getting stiff. Back it off a bit. Bit less that way. Half a turn. That's better. Right, and then you tighten the top one up. I'll put a spring washer on this as good measure. Tight. Gravity. Come on, get in there. You're not there yet, are you, darling? Let me put this down a minute on the two hands. One to hold the bearing, and one to turn it, pull it in and out of it. That's it. There we go. We got it. I think. Right. Once that's in place, alright, what you have to do is you get this ball bearing, alright, and it goes, let's pull this out a little bit, it goes straight down there, straight onto this shaft. Can you see the screwdriver in the hole? I'll try and do that. Can you see that little thing in there? Keep moving. Now what we got to do is drop a ball bearing into that hole there, right at the bottom. Right at the bottom there. So what you do, you get one of these bigger ball bearings. Should fit in the hole. No. Okay, one ball bearing. Okay, let's get that bearing out. Put one of the smaller ones in there. I think there's one that's slightly smaller. I gotta find it, so give me a minute and I'll be with you. Okay. Right, we're back again. Now it's one ball bearing. It's a little bit tricky to get in. And then, right, okay. That's you put 3 pins in, right? And all your ball bearings. Now then, the one that was tricky is in there. Ball bearing, never noticed that before. Right. Okay. Phew, sorry about all that. Now we're getting there. That shouldn't be there. That should be. In there. Like that. Right. Ah, better to go through the gears so they move them when you've put the retaining bolts in. I'm feeling not bearing. Ball bearing. Okay, I'll leave it there. There's a ball bearing in there as well. Where you find it in there? Okay. That goes on the shaft. Spring. There's no ball bearing in that one. Hang on. Because nothing there. In my little pot then. There we go. This one. Alright. Goes in there. And that one. Pointy one. Goes in there. One's got a ball bearing on it and one hasn't. Then push them down. Right. And on top of that, only one, there must be another one here somewhere. These springs go on it. One goes there, right, and one goes in there. So, that holds that pin down and makes it so the gears click, right? That one goes somewhere else, I know where that goes. Oh damn. Boo boo. Right, let me see. I think that one. I will check this in a minute. And that one. In there. That one I'm pretty sure goes in there. And then there's a spring in the retaining bolt. Dear, I've just lost the bloody video I was doing, so I'll try and add this on when the time comes. Now that when you do it up, you want these bolts roughly the same in depth, the centre. Tighten up the outside, same with the reverse. Right. You can see we're sticking out a little bit. Oops. This is hard. Maybe that angle. I can see it. My head's around here, so I'll go down. You can just see that. There it is. Whee! See it sticking out? That one's roughly sticking out the same, and that one's roughly the same. Right? So when you get that, you know that your gears up here are locked in position. And there's neutral. You can move it that way. And then one gear. It was harder than that second gear, I think. And down, that's another gear. Up. Across. And I think it's that way. And that's third gear. That's reverse. Right over here is first gear. That's first gear. That's second gear. Should be there. You can see it there. And then let's check. I think I've got it in between the gear there. Very easy to do. No, it's not. It should be. Yeah, we are on it there. So now we can tighten all this down. Oh, it's phone. Now we can tighten all this down here, around here, and we put this on. Yeah, so we'll tighten all them down, and we'll put that on. Go from there. And we fit this bit. Ooh. This is the speedo drive. That goes after you tighten it down. In there. Right. It just goes in there. Give it a turn or two and it will. It went in first time and now it's being there we go. And it should screen in. And ooh, yank the wire out the back of the phone. That's when we adjust the whole movement. And like some people say on there, vice grip. Turn that. That's it. So it's just tight, not really tight, it's only plastic. Right, now that little cog you saw goes on that big cog there. Check the gearbox turns over. Yeah. That's good. And flow. It's very hard to check. That's a bit of of play there, but not much. That's good. Sorted. Oh boy, I'm knackered. I can't think straight, so I'm going to call it a day. Everything will be checked, but it ain't there yet. So I've got to put that bit on. Now we've got gears, and we've got an easily turning shaft, as you can see there. And there is a bit of hand float on here. I'm not going to worry about that. I haven't got any more washers to go in there. So if I ever change the clutch on the car, I might buy some and shove them in then, but it's not the end of the world to have maybe 6 thou, if that. Playing that wobble, you're always going to get that. Right, so I've got to the stage now where this part is done, all the gears. I hope what I've done is useful to you. Maybe that will show it around. It's noisy because there's no oil in it. That's it. Oh, you see the light here at the bottom just about turning. Yeah. It's out of gear at the moment, so neutral. So that can go around with the engine running and the drive shaft don't go around. Yeah, it's working. And when you put your foot on the clutch, you put the brakes on and then you can turn this. Yeah. Never mind, it's not confusing issue. And that's it. You can see a little bit of play that way. There's nothing much I can do about that. There's a little bit there, see it? That little bit is nothing to worry about. As far as I'm concerned anyway, there's nothing I can do about it. So, that's it, all the ball bearings are in, the 2 pins are in there. You can just see them in the hole, see? I've got to put springs on there, they're in here. There's a bolt that goes on here. I think that's the earth strap, and it's a slightly bigger bolt from the bodywork to this. So, we have a gearbox again. Wow. All we've got to do now is hope it works. That's the next thing. And it don't leak. I think I'm going to get some wimp in here because you can see that seal. You see it is moving. But when this is in the flywheel, you'll have no movement that way. Well, you should have virtually nothing. Because when it goes out the flywheel, it goes into another. It's not really a bearing, it's like a sleeve. It goes over the top of that and holds it still. So there'll be none of this wobble in it. The clutch will just slide off and on this. And then that will stop turning, but the engine will keep running, which will stop that lot. And then you can put it into gear without crunching, because those brakes I showed you are the synchro mesh. Now the first gear ain't got it, so you got first and reverse on most cars haven't got synchro mesh, so you have to be stationary to put it in reverse. Otherwise you get that little and that's why you get that noise. If you stand still and put it in reverse, you probably won't get any. You know, eventually you'll wreck your gearbox, but, you know. But at least my second gear now won't blow out all the time. Right, I'm quite happy with that. So, I'm going to call it a day because everything's hurting. So, even my light's hurting. Look at it. Still works though. Press the button there 3 times. It still works. Yeah. Right. I think I can take the phone off charge. This is charging off my solar panels, which is that plug. That is homebrew electric. That is mains. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I shall get back to you tomorrow maybe, or the next day. And we'll put it all together. Yeah, I'm quite happy. I don't think we've missed anything. These have all got to be cleaned up a little bit, but nothing much, a good wipe. And then, yeah, it all looks pretty good. Right, I'm not going to babble on. Right, one goes in there. One also goes in there. There's the top one. Still stuck in the gasket. That one. No, it's a reverse gear. Oh boy. That's all the gears. External. It might be. Okay, I've got to find that. Pretty sure it's a shortish bolt. It'll be on the bench here somewhere. So, I'll get back to you in a minute.